What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk about the price action that has been happening, talk about some factors that may have caused it to go down, give you some updated data points very relevant to a lot of investors. In addition to that, there was a big catalyst that just came out, so I do want to discuss that and what that actually means for us as investors, and finally cap it all off with some technical analysis. But before I get into any of that, all I ask, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and want to support it, take a look at the memberships link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom screen. With that said, let's get right to it. So as you can see on the intraday chart, for the most part, it's been largely red. We have found some very strong support, so that is very positive. So there is unfortunately no official news that is out. There is some things that are floating around, such as layoffs and other bad economic data, but nothing directly for Lucid. So that's one of those things why I decided to buy additionally today, because whenever it is going down as much as it is without some justification, I always use that as a great buying opportunity. So I did buy more today at 27.70. Again, I didn't really necessarily catch the bottom, but when it comes down to Lucid dropping without any news whatsoever, that in my opinion is just more manipulation and things like that. But I do want to go over some factors just in case you guys may find some benefit of that, why it may have dropped. So this was posted via Lucid. So it does look like Lucid was undergoing some layoffs, and it does look like he actually does know someone who was laid off. So when it comes down to these kind of things being spread out, this obviously wasn't formally done by Lucid whatsoever, but it's one of those things that if there was layoffs, that does show a underlying issue, possibly, especially this early on in the game. So it is one of those things, right? It's just more so FUD. It doesn't necessarily help the conception of Lucid, especially in a lot of retail investors' minds. In addition to that, again, it's not necessarily directly affecting Lucid, but it is possibly very bad economic data. So ADP, non-farm employment change. So this is obviously a precursor for a couple days before the payrolls come out. So it does show a massive drop. So at the end of the day, that is a very bearish indicator. So it is what it is. I know it directly doesn't necessarily affect Lucid, but that just shows underlying consumers having less money. But with that, those are some factors I did find relevant, at least. In addition to that, obviously we already know shorts have been manipulating Lucid for quite some time. So short interest is currently up 1.55% on a day-by-day change. So 1.68 million shares being additionally shorted today. 1303 is a short interest, down roughly about 15% from 1 week prior. 9626 is the utilization. So this could be, again, one attributing factor is just shorts are increasing a little bit. And looking at the options data right now, it is a little bit bearish. So you can see a total of $35 million of options today, which only 35% of them being positive. Yesterday was 11.93 million with 50% positive. So it definitely does show a little bit more of a concern when it comes to long-term health of Lucid. And as you can see to my left, the live ticker, so currently down 6%, 21 million as far as volume, whereas 51 is the average. And I'm going to tie that together when I do a little bit of technical analysis, so keep that in mind. And block volume is currently 1.6 million shares being purchased by institutions today. So there is a lot of factors right now that definitely stand out, even looking at this. So 1.6 million shares being purchased by institutions today alone is relatively low, given that we're about halfway through the day. So that's something as well. In addition to, we have relatively low volume. So take that how you see that. That could mean an underlying issue or people are just avoiding it, whatever it might be. But with that, I do want to touch on this. So even on the institutions and hedge funds, the new 13Fs that did come down the pipeline. So it does look like a lot of institutions are still adding. So you can see 1 million shares, even on Fifth Third, does look like they increased their position by roughly about 1,400%. So there is a lot of big buying, a big support when it comes to Lucid. So it is one of those things that take it how you see it, because I know a lot of retail investors really do like looking and mimicking exactly what institutions and hedge funds do. So again, it is good to see a lot of institutions are either adding new positions or doubling down, which is very positive at the end of the day. But with all that, I do want to touch on this, which is a very big catalyst. So right here, the UK Top Gear team, they did a review on the Lucid Air. That is very good, and obviously there is a lot of detail that I'm not going to necessarily talk about because I don't want this to be a 50-60 minute video. But again, we have done a lot of reviews, all of which are very positive. But as far as good things, it does say mixes the luxury of a limo with the vigor of a sports saloon. I've never really thought of it as that, but yeah, it's definitely positive. And bad stuff though. So it is fairly pricey to power, which obviously that may be in the UK, which it doesn't even say it's not in the UK. But regardless of all that, it definitely does show that there is a demand. And we all know that there is a huge demand for EV vehicles in Europe, which ultimately, once Lucid does actually move in there and start doing deliveries, which I believe is estimated to be done fairly soon, that is going to be very profitable for us as investors. And also Jenny from the blockchain has provided this as well. So a number of studios throughout Europe. So again, it does show that we are very well established to as far as the overall health of Lucid in the long term, especially once we do make our way into Europe. So I'm very excited about Europe, and it does look like even they are very happy with the overall review. So let me know in the comments below what you do think about that. So with that, I'm just going to tie it all together with some technical analysis. So right now I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic momentum. So again, like I said, I am going to tie it back together. One also attributing factor that could be causing us to go down is, like I already mentioned, number of institutions today and yesterday have been fairly lower, to say the least. And looking as well, the momentum indicator, which shows the number of buyers, has been going down for quite some time. So it definitely does show less institutional purchasing in addition to less retail investors are getting in. So that again could be one attributing factor, which you can also tell based on the overall volume over the last couple of days has been relatively low. So that is something to consider as well. Right now, stochastic still technically has a little bit of a deviation. So the black line is above the red. So still a bullish indicator in that sense, even though we are breaking down a little bit, and we are getting to a very pivotal point right now. We're getting past the 200-day moving average, which we did cross it today. So right now, again, we are in a very interesting time period where we could trend a little bit lower, or if the volume does pick up and we can actually move it up a little bit more, then we can stay in a little bit of a healthy zone. But unfortunately, it does look like the bigger money or senses or whatever is out there is wanting Lucid to go down. So unless there is some underlying issue that I'm not aware of, it's one of those things that you need to continuously buy the dip, especially considering if there is actual no concrete news, then this is again just an overreaction. That's how I see things, especially when it comes to Lucid. But regardless of all of that, I am investing in the long term when it comes to Lucid. So take that how you see that, and keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Just want to touch on some resistance and support levels because I know a lot of you do find that very beneficial. So first, second, and third resistance is 31, 32, and 33. I do like that the first and second are very tight knit. We can easily break past that with the right catalyst, but unfortunately we just need enough volume. We need people to actually want Lucid, but unfortunately it does look like we're getting back into the more fearful stage right now. On the contrary, first, second, and third support levels, you can see 28, 27, and 26. We did actually break past both the first and second ones today, holding the third one very strong. And when it comes down to it, we already know that 25.50 is a very strong support, and that is what we did bounce off of previously. So that hopefully will hold if we do actually touch that. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. But it goes back to the whole time frame, a year from now, 2 years from now, when this is at 200 plus or whatever you do feel, it's going to have a very good return on investments. It's going to be the patient investors that make the most, and it's these moments in time are the best buying opportunities. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Lucid and whether you have been buying like myself or what you might be doing. Let me know. If you haven't already, smash the thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. Also, don't forget to join my Discord, link in the description below. It's a free chat and a lot of good people, so definitely join that. With all that, let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.